Hi, are you having a hard time getting your children to listen? Usually that means that what we really want is for them not only to listen, but to do what we've asked them to do. And that can be a challenge with certain spirited kids. And so I want to give you some ideas about how to get kids to follow instructions, how to listen and do what we ask them to do. So the strategy that I like the best is to give them a plan to follow. So instead of telling them that we don't want them to do something, like we don't want them to say no, we don't want them to ignore us, we tell them what we want them to do. And what we want them to do is to look at us when we're giving them the instruction. We would also like them to say okay, and then we'd like them to do it. So it's really a three-step plan: to look at us, say okay, and then do what we've asked them to do. Sometimes we need to add a fourth step, and that usually we need to add that when we want them to leave the room to go do something and then come back. So let's say we want them to go clean their room, but we're not standing in their doorway. We might want them to look at us, say okay, go clean their room, which is someplace else, and then check back. So we have a fourth optional step of checking back if they have to leave the room to do what we've asked them to do. Then, once we tell them what the plan is, then the next time we ask them to do something, we remind them what the plan is. So we say, okay, Jimmy, I'm going to ask you to do something. Do you remember what the 4 steps are? And we go through with them until they remember what the steps are, which is to look at us, say okay, do it, and then check back if necessary. And we remind them what that is before we even tell them what the instruction is. So we give them the reminder, then we give them the actual instruction, and then, of course, we hope that they do it. And we can increase the chance that they would do it in addition to those prompts that I suggested by setting it up as part of their reward system. So for kids who are struggling to obey and to comply, I'd really recommend having a reward system in place. And so you let them know that whenever I give you an instruction and you do it, we're going to add a tick to your reward system so that they know there's something in it for them, that they're going to be earning something that they want, which could be something that costs you money or something that costs you time. Maybe you'll spend some time doing something special with them, or maybe an extra privilege. So it doesn't have to all be things that you spend money for. So then another strategy you can add to that to increase the chance that they'll do it is to sometimes ask them to do something fun. So you tell them, okay, I'm going to give you the instruction, and do you remember the steps you're supposed to follow? And you go through it with them, and then you ask them something like, can you go get the cookies out and get one for yourself and give them to other people? Or would you please go and turn on your favorite DVD to watch? So you shake it up. You don't only ask them to do things that they don't want to do, because that's, of course, is part of the problem. You shake it up so that sometimes you're asking them to do things that they actually really want to do. And you throw those in every once in a while so that they see that sometimes the idea of following instructions can be fun. Or you ask them to do something that they were already just about to do, but now you ask them to do it. So you're getting to the door and they're about to open it. And then you say, oh, Jacob, I'm going to give you an instruction, and I would like you to look at me and to say okay and then do it. And then do this quite quickly in this situation, and then you say, could you please open the door? And they were already about to do it. But now you've just reinforced compliance. And when you add it to their reward system, then you also give a lot of verbal praise and, smile and, pat on the back, or, things like that, so that you're pairing your verbal praise with an actual reward that they're earning. And you're teaching them what you want them to do instead of focusing on what you want them to stop doing. This is a real key to getting kids to comply and to follow instructions. And my name is Barbara Lester. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I've been working with kids and teens for almost 30 years. So I hope you enjoyed this tip. And if you liked it, please subscribe to my channel. And I'd like to see you here again.